You've been told your whole life that the .22 long rifle is a plinking round, good for cans and paper targets, but useless when your life's on the line. What if I told you that belief could get you killed? In 2025, tiny rimfire bullets are shattering that myth. We now have .22 long rifle loads that can punch through barriers, expand like heavy calibers, and drop threats and faster than some centerfire handgun. Once you see the ballistic data on these rounds, you'll never look at the smallest cartridge in your collection the same way again. So, in today's video, we're breaking down the top 7 .22 long rifle loads for self-defense in 2025, ranked by stopping power, reliability, and proven ballistic performance. Let's begin. Number 7. Aguila Super Extra 40 grain solid point. At first glance, the Aguila Super Extra 40 grain solid point doesn't scream self-defense. It's marketed as a high-quality target and training load, the kind you'd expect to see in bulk at the range, but dig deeper and you'll find a cartridge with characteristics that make it a sleeper pick for defensive use, especially in compact .22 long rifle pistols and revolvers. The 40 grain solid lead bullet is loaded to a muzzle velocity of about 1,255 feet per second from a rifle and around 1,050 feet per second from a typical handgun. That velocity, combined with its round nose design, gives it excellent penetration for its size. In ballistic gel, it regularly punches beyond 12 inches, something many hollow points in this caliber struggle to achieve. Against heavy clothing, drywall, or even light auto glass, that deep, straight-line penetration can be the difference between stopping a threat and simply angering it. What also works in the Super Extra's favor is reliability. Aguila's Rimfire priming process is one of the most consistent in the business, with misfire rates that rival CCI's gold standard offerings. That matters when your gun holds 10 rounds or fewer and you can't afford a dud. While it won't deliver the dramatic expansion of premium hollow points, the Super Extra's strength lies in its ability to reach vital organs even from pocket-sized guns. In a caliber where shot placement is everything, having a round that feeds smoothly, fires every time, and penetrates deep enough makes the Aguila Super Extra an under-the-radar choice that belongs on this list. Number 6. Federal Punch 29 grain flat nose. Federal designed the Punch 29 grain flat nose specifically for one thing, making the .22 long rifle truly viable for personal defense. Instead of copying the typical hollow point approach, Federal engineered a flat nose solid bullet with carefully tuned velocity to ensure reliable penetration even from short barrel pistols. From a 2 to 3 inch barrel, the punch clocks in at around 1,070 feet per second. That may not sound like much until you see its performance in FBI protocol testing. Unlike hollow points that can clog or fail to open, the punch plows through heavy clothing and consistently reaches 12 to 14 inches in calibrated ballistic gel. The flat nose helps create a more disruptive wound path than a round nose, while still retaining enough momentum to break bone or reach critical organs. Another factor that sets the punch apart is its reliability in semi-automatics. Many .22 long rifle loads stumble in pistols due to inconsistent powder charges or weak primers, but Federal's clean burning propellant and precision rimfire priming drastically reduce misfires. Testers have run hundreds of rounds through defensive pistols like the Ruger LCP-2 and S&W M&P .22 Compact without a single failure to fire, which is rare for rimfire ammo. In real-world terms, the punch is about as close as you can get to a purpose-built .22 long rifle defensive round. It sacrifices expansion for guaranteed penetration. prioritizing the ability to stop an attacker over the hope of dramatic bullet deformation. For anyone relying on a lightweight .22 for concealment or recoil sensitivity, the Punch delivers confidence that few other rimfire loads can match. Number 5, CCI Velocitor 40 grain hollow point. The CCI Velocitor is what happens when a .22 long round is built with a mindset of a big-bore defensive cartridge. Instead of going ultra-light and super-fast like many hyper-velocity rimfires, the Velocitor sticks with a full 40-grain bullet, giving it the weight to carry deep while still hitting impressive speeds. From a standard pistol barrel, you can expect around 1,070 to 1,100 feet per second, and from a rifle, it jumps to roughly 1,435 feet per second. What makes the Velocitor so effective for defense is its balance between speed, mass, and expansion. The copper-plated hollow point is designed to open up quickly in soft tissue while retaining enough weight to push well past the shallow penetration you see with lightweight varmint rounds. In ballistic gel tests, it consistently reaches the 12-inch minimum most self-defense experts look for, often hitting 13 to 14 inches even after passing through 4 layers of heavy denim. Expansion typically measures around 0.33 to 0.36 inches. Not huge compared to centerfire handguns, but excellent for .22 long rifle standards. The heavier bullet also gives the Velocitor an edge when shooting through intermediate barriers. While lighter, high-velocity loads can deflect or lose significant energy on impact, the Velocitor's momentum keeps it on target. That extra mass also makes it less prone to wind drift at longer distances, a factor that matters more in defensive shooting than most realize. CCI's reliability reputation is another major selling point. The Velocitor uses their premium priming and clean burning powder, meaning misfires are rare and semi-auto cycling is smooth. Whether you're running a compact pistol or defensive carbine, or even a revolver, consistent ignition, solid penetration, and the kind of energy transfer that puts it near the top of the .22 long rifle defensive food chain. Number 4, Winchester Silvertip 37-grain hollow point. The Winchester Silvertip has been around for decades in centerfire calibers, but its .22 long rifle version brings the same core philosophy to the rimfire world, a balance of speed, controlled expansion, and consistent terminal performance. At 37 grains, it's slightly lighter than many standard defensive loads, but it makes up for that with velocity. Out of a handgun, you'll typically see around 1,060 to 1,080 feet per second, and from a rifle, it pushes close to 1,280 feet per second. What sets the Silvertip apart is its unique bullet construction. The lead core is coated with Winchester's signature silver-colored plating, which isn't just cosmetic. That plating helps reduce barrel fouling, improves feeding reliability in semi-autos, and gives the bullet a harder surface for better penetration through light barriers like plywood or car doors. The hollow point cavity is deep and precisely formed, allowing for rapid expansion in soft targets while still holding enough mass to drive 11 to 12 inches into ballistic gel. The Silvertip's slightly lighter bullet weight makes recoil negligible, even by .22 long rifle standards, which means faster, more accurate follow-up shots in a defensive encounter. Its performance is particularly strong in compact pistols with shorter barrels, where some heavier loads lose too much velocity to expand reliably. In real-world testing, the Silvertip's expansion tends to average around 0.30 to 0.32 inches, with uniform mushrooming and minimal fragmentation. Another advantage of the Silvertip is its smooth feeding profile. The rounded ogive and plated surface reduce the chances of hang-ups in small semi-auto pistols, which can be picky about ammo. For people relying on pocket pistols or lightweight revolvers for deep concealment, that reliability matters just as much as penetration and expansion. If you want a defensive .22 long rifle round that combines clean shooting, dependable feeding, and consistent performance across different gun types, the Winchester Silvertip earns its place. Number 3, Remington Golden Bullet 40-grain round nose. The Remington Golden Bullet is one of those 22 long rifle loads that's been around for so long many shooters overlook it. But in 2025 it still holds its ground as a versatile defensive option. Thanks to its balance of power, reliability, and deep penetration, the 40-grain plated lead round nose clocks around 1,255 feet per second from a rifle and roughly 1,050 feet per second from a compact pistol, putting it right in the sweet spot for consistent terminal performance. What really makes the Golden Bullet shine is its feeding reliability in semi-autos. The smooth, brass-plated surface reduces friction in the chamber and magazine, minimizing misfeeds in guns that can be notoriously picky with rimfire ammo. For revolver users, that same plating helps reduce lead fouling, keeping accuracy consistent over extended shooting sessions. Ballistically, the Golden Bullet behaves like a classic penetrator. In gel test, it frequently pushes past 12 inches, even when fired through heavy clothing or light barriers. The round nose doesn't expand like a hollow point, but it maintains its mass and momentum exceptionally well, which is critical for reaching vital areas in a defensive situation. This is especially important for shooters relying on shorter barrels where expansion can be unreliable. Another factor in its favor is affordability and availability. Defensive ammo is no good if you can't train with it, and the Golden Bullet's price point allows for frequent practice with the same exact load you carry. That means muscle memory, sight picture, and recoil control remain consistent under stress. It's not flashy and it won't win any new tech awards, but the Golden Bullet proves that sometimes the best self-defense round is the one that just keeps working every time without fuss. In the world of a .22 long rifle, that kind of consistency is worth its weight in gold. Number 2, CCI Stinger 32-grain copper-plated hollow point. If there's a celebrity in the .22 long rifle world, it's the CCI Stinger. For decades, it has been the go-to round for shooters looking to squeeze every last bit of speed from the tiny rimfire cartridge. And in 2025, it's still one of the most potent options for self-defense. The Stinger's claim to fame is velocity, a blistering 1,640 feet per second from a rifle and around 1,250 to 1,300 feet per second from most handguns. That speed translates into serious energy for such a small bullet, giving it one of the flattest trajectories and hardest hitting impacts in its class. The Stinger uses a 32-grain copper-plated hollow point with a longer case than standard .22 long rifle, paired with a slightly shortened bullet to maintain the correct overall length. That design allows more powder capacity without compromising feeding in semi-automatics. In ballistic gel testing, the Stinger delivers rapid expansion and a wound cavity far larger than most .22 long rifle rounds, often blooming out to around 0.35 to 0.38 inches. Penetration averages between 9 and 11 inches, which is slightly less than heavy 40-grain options, but more than enough when combined with its explosive expansion. Where the Stinger really excels is in situations where you want to maximize damage on impact. Against soft targets, the energy dump is immediate and dramatic, especially when fired from rifles or longer pistols. It's also surprisingly effective on small barriers, wood panels, light sheet metal, and auto glass, where the high velocity helps it maintain momentum through the material. CCI's reputation for quality control means you can expect flawless feeding, clean ignition, and consistent velocity shot after shot. The only caution is that its extra long case can be finicky in some match-grade or ultra-compact chambers, so it's worth running a few boxes through your chosen carry gun to confirm reliability. For those who believe speed kills, the CCI Stinger remains proof that a hyper-velocity .22 long rifle can still be a serious self-defense contender.
10 when shot placement is on point.
Number 1, CCI Minimag 40 grain CPRN. If there's one .22 long rifle round that's earned universal respect among shooters, it's the CCI Minimag. While it may not have the eye-popping velocity of a Stinger or the aggressive design of a Federal Punch, it has something arguably more important for self-defense: rock-solid reliability. In a caliber where misfires can be the difference between stopping a threat and facing disaster, the Minimag has built its reputation on firing every time, cycling smoothly in both pistols and rifles, and delivering consistent ballistic performance shot after shot. The 40-grain copper-plated round nose leaves a rifle barrel at around 1,235 feet per second, and a typical handgun at around 1,050 feet per second. That combination of weight and velocity gives it excellent penetration, often hitting 12 to 14 inches in ballistic gel without overexpanding or fragmenting. While it's not a hollow point, its round-nose design ensures deep, straight-line penetration, which is crucial when dealing with barriers like heavy clothing, drywall, or car doors. The plating of the bullet serves multiple purposes. It reduces barrel fouling, helps maintain consistent velocity over long strings of fire, and improves feeding in semi-auto actions. Many defensive shooters favor the Minimag not because it's flashy, but because it works in nearly every firearm chambered for .22 long rifle without the picky behavior some hotter loads can exhibit. In real-world terms, the Minimag's advantage is predictability. You know exactly how it will perform. You know it will go bang when you need it to, and you know it will hit where you aim. That peace of mind is priceless in a defensive encounter, especially with a rimfire weapon. For 2025, the CCI Minimag remains the gold standard for dependable .22 long rifle performance. And remember, it's not about gimmicks or chasing extreme numbers. It's about a round you can bet your life on, and the Minimag has been earning that trust for decades. And that wraps up our countdown of the top 22 long rifle loads for self-defense in 2025, showing that size doesn't dictate stopping power. With the right ammunition, the .22 long rifle can go from being a range toy to a serious tool for personal protection. Remember, your life is worth more than outdated gun shop myths. So choosing ammo that's proven to perform is one of the smartest moves you can make if you want to keep discovering which firearms, gear, and tactics actually work when it matters. Hit that subscribe button. More hard-hitting lists, deep dive reviews, and field-tested advice are coming your way, and you'll want to be ready.